The news in Philadelphia this week just went from bad to great to bad once again, as A.J. Brown's latest press conference was exactly what the Birds needed heading to a big game versus the Broncos, but Brown and company might be without a key weapon, as the injury bug has struck once again, igniting the trade drums for a brand new target. Plus, Nakobe Dean is back, but Vic Fangio's plan for him this weekend remains unclear, and Brandon Graham swung by the show today to give us his take on everything going on with the Birds. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. All eyes in Philadelphia have stayed on A.J. Brown and the Birds' offense the past 2 days. And listen, rightfully so, as Brown spoke to the media on Wednesday and honestly gave the perfect response to all the drama that he himself cooked up earlier this week. But while Brown is now front and center of the media's crosshairs, a lot happened at the Eagles' first practice of the week that nobody's talking about that has me a lot more interested and to a point concerned. First though, friendly reminder, today is your last day to enter the Jordan Spector Art Jalen Hurts giveaway, as you see right here. Drop a like, be subscribed, and comment down below. Get your comment in because the winner of this bad boy will be announced this coming Saturday. Now, first things first, Wednesday's practice was full of drama, both the good and bad kind, and let's just start with the bad. As Dallas Goedert has not practiced so far this week with a knee injury. At this point, it's unknown if this is the same knee injury that kept him out of the Chiefs game or if it is in fact a new knee issue. Goedert did appear, however, for practice today, that is Thursday, after sitting out yesterday, Wednesday, but in a very limited capacity, leaving all of us to speculate if DG is actually really banged up and not likely to play on Sunday, or if his absence earlier in the week was just precautionary to make sure he's ready to roll versus Denver. Either way, the Birds' often injured tight end is injured once again, and it likely occurred on this catch early in the second quarter against the Bucs, where Goedert recounted the game for a while, hold on to that knee on the sideline, but technically did return. And this, sadly, is the reality of having Dallas Goedert on your team. I think Goedert is still a top 5 tight end when healthy, but every single season he's been in the National Football League, he has missed time with injuries, and this year, in 2025, it's been no different. And this is a major blow. Goedert has been one of the most consistent pass catchers on a very hot and cold Eagles offense so far this season. He trails Smitty by 4 catches and A.J. Brown by 2, despite playing in 1 fewer game than both of them. I think it's more than clear that Philadelphia must address the tight end position next offseason, but if Goedert's injuries can turn this year, I think it could become a priority heading into, a month from now's NFL trade deadline. As names like Kyle Pitts obviously could become a reality, depending on Atlanta's record, but I also might throw in a more interesting name in Cleveland's David Njoku. Westside.com just called a serious trade candidate over the next few weeks, saying, quote, with Harold Fannin Jr. looking like the future at tight end, general manager Andrew Berry should move Njoku. 29-year-old only has a $1.255 million base salary in the final season of his deal, making him a bargain for a team like the Chargers or elsewhere in dire need of an upgrade at the position. Through 4 weeks, Njoku has 4 catches for 128 yards. Time, of course, will tell if Njoku or Pitts or another tight end yet to be named could be a target for Philadelphia. Trade deadline is week 8. We're basically 4 weeks away. And so kind of put that on the back burner. Let's monitor the Goedert situation the next couple of days. He could play this weekend. He might not. Either way, though, tight end is going to be a massive priority in the offseason. If they don't make a move, could even be the number 1 overall pick for Philadelphia in the first round. Moving on, though, there is good news to come out of practice this week, as Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, and Adoree Jackson were all at practice, at least so far, and all limited but look ready to go versus Denver, with perhaps the most important of that group being Lane Johnson, who's now missed nearly an entire game of football through 4 games, as he missed 2 quarters versus the Rams and 2 this past weekend versus the Bucs. And well, listen, Fred Johnson, he's filled in very admirably, he's been very good. This graphic from FS1 really showcases the drop-off when the right tackle, Lane Johnson, isn't there. Philadelphia goes from 5th to 16th, according to PFF's grades, when switching from Lane to Fred, but it also points out these serious struggles away from the right tackle spot in both Cam Jurgens and especially Landon Dickerson, because everybody and their mother knows the true reason why Saquon and company are struggling to run the football has to be because of the left guard and the center. And of course, I think both of them are secretly injured, even though they're not popping up on the injury report. I digress, though. You would think that if the main problem right now in the rushing attack is the left guard and the center, the offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, would scheme away from those two and maybe run behind Jordan Mailata or Lane Johnson when he's healthy, or even Tyler Steen, who gets hate on a little bit but has not been that bad. Although unfortunately, Patullo's been doing the exact opposite. Philadelphia has run up the middle more than any other year in the past 5. And of course, to terrible effectiveness, shown by this new chart here, with the A and B gap showcasing negative rushing EPA versus literally any other lane outside of center and left guard. The good news, though, I guess, is that it's another week for Landon Dickerson to hopefully get this much closer to being 100%, and it is an opponent in the Denver Broncos that have been, at times, susceptible to the run, especially in the interior of the Broncos' front 4. as they gave up 165 yards on the ground to Jonathan Taylor and the Colts 3 weeks ago, and over 100 yards on the ground to Herbert and the Chargers. Obviously, the passing attack, it's the main issue right now in Philadelphia, but as I keep saying on my show, and I'll say it until Barkley goes for 100 yards, they have got to get Saquon going, and if he goes for 100 yards this weekend versus the Broncos, I think they're going to win that game and win it pretty handily. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, Clover. I think we all know that life throws a ton of unexpected expenses at all of us. Maybe it's a car repair or groceries or gas or even rent. Clover, though, is here to help. Clover is a financial app that gives you faster, smarter access to your money. You can advance up to $250 before payday with no interest, no credit checks, and no late fees. Plus, unlike other apps, there's no monthly fee. And if you need the money instantly, you can get it right away for a small fee. What I personally love most is just how transparent it is. Clover makes money through partnerships with brands by charging users a small instant fee. It really is built to help people avoid predatory lending and give you the tools to feel financially secure. So if you need a little cash, then try Clover. And you can access up to $250 with no credit check and no late fees. All you gotta do is click the link down below in my description box, go ahead and sign up and let them know that I sent you. Of course, I can't talk about the injuries at practice on Wednesday without talking about the guy who's officially back in linebacker Nakobe Dean, who of course missed the entire offseason plus the first 4 games of this season due to that patellar knee injury suffered in the wildcard win over the Packers. Dean has obviously been hard at work to get back on the football field ever since the injury. Told myself this summer that he could have played week 1, but wanted to make sure not to rush it back, as of course he's entering a contract year and doesn't want to re-injure the knee. Of course now he's officially back as he's been cleared and activated from the PUP list, and to reporters on Wednesday, he feels 100% despite being unsure of his role in Fangio's defense starting this week.
If you clear it, you open my practice window open, I feel like I'm able to fully go now. What you mean hard for me? I control what I control. I'm out there, I'm playing, I'm practicing. That's all I can do, control what I control. I control what I control. You know, I know I can play. I know we can go out there and ball. So I control what I control, continue to ball, continue to get better mentally, physically, emotionally, throughout the whole thing, no matter what, just continue to get better.
And I personally do not envy Vic Fangio and Nick Sirianni this week because on one hand, Nakobe Dean was fantastic last year, as we'll see, but can you really bench Jihaad Campbell for maybe not a 100% Nakobe Dean? Like deciding what to do with number 7 and number 30, at least this week, it's a very, very tough call. For as good as Zach Baun was last year, and he was an all-pro, we forget that Dean was right there with him, putting together his best season as a Philadelphia Eagle by far. But the problem now is that Philadelphia's rookie linebacker sensation, Jihaad Campbell, is easily the leader for Defensive Rookie of the Year in the entire NFL and playing at an extremely high level. Something Nick Sirianni acknowledged yesterday, but did also refuse to hint at any sort of actual plan for Dean as of this week.
I think anytime you have a bunch of good football players, it gives you good options. Yeah, we'll see how everything goes, and when everyone's ready, and this and that. But just like I said, really excited about the room and the different things to answer your question, the different things that each one of those guys can do. Very versatile players that can help you win football games.
My best guess is Nakobe Dean will play limited snaps this weekend. You might see him a little bit more on special teams than actually with the defense, and they'll mix in Jihaad Campbell on and off the football field whenever Dean's in an inside linebacker, and maybe, of course, use Campbell as an edge rusher at times. I'm sure there are packages for that, but I do not expect them to just give the job back to Nakobe Dean. He has to earn that. With the way Jihaad Campbell's playing, that's going to be very, very difficult. Of course, injuries aside, honestly, let's go to the real story of the week right now, and that, of course, is the return of A.J. Brown to his usual Wednesday locker room media session, following a 2-catch, 7-yard day versus the Bucs on Sunday, where Brown, of course, refused after the game to talk to the media, and then sent the now viral Bible verse tweet that started the entire fire. However, on Wednesday, Brown faced the Philadelphia media, and I'll be honest, delivered a near-perfect opening statement and really entire presser, explaining exactly his mindset based on his actions earlier in the week.
Obviously, Sunday after the game, I let my frustrations boil over. I didn't speak to the media. I had a chance to correct my frustrations, and I continued to let it boil over. That's on me. I take full accountability on that. Posting that. My message on Twitter wasn't directed at anyone in the building. My coaches, my quarterback, my GM, nobody. Like I said, I take full accountability. I have an open communication with all my coaches and with my quarterback as well. Me and my coaches, KP, Nick, we discuss weekly about trying to get this thing on the same page. So yeah.
Brown would also add that his frustrations are not aimed at any one player. It's not Jalen Hurts or Kevin Patullo, but at the offensive struggles as a whole. and said he isn't denying the fact that he wants the football, but he wants to make sure the offense lives up to the very high bar set by the 2024 Birds playoff campaign.
When the game's on the line, look at me, and I want everybody in the stadium to know that, and that's not a secret. I'm not shying away from that. And so that's where you see that frustration, because that hunger comes out. And it's because I see we struggling, and I believe that you give the ball to me, I'm gonna open up things and I'm gonna get this thing going. You can put it on my back. So I think it's normal to have frustrations because of the standard that we hold ourselves to, and we have a lot of talent on offense, and to be honest, defense and special teams have been low-key carrying us, and it's just like we need to clean up what we need to clean up and get on the same page, and and play to the ability that we say that we can and be who we are called to be. So it's a standard that we preach, and so it's easy to have that frustration. I think it's fair to have that frustration, but like I said, I just can't let that boil over. So
my entire view of A.J. Brown's actions, at least this week, have done a complete full 360-degree circle, because at first I didn't like him tweeting. I still don't. I wish he'd keep it all internally. But the Birds offense, it needs a good kick in the butt. Like, it needs to be exposed and it needs to be called out. I think A.J. Brown, being the very smart, media-savvy receiver that he is, decided to do that. Call it the Bird offense, make sure that no one, not even the media or internally, could ignore it. And now they got to go inside themselves and figure out how to fix it. And my hope is everything A.J. Brown has done, from Sunday's tweet to having a very good press conference on Wednesday, will help the Birds offense finally look at least 3 quarters good, maybe a full 4 quarters of fantastic starting this week, week 5 versus the Broncos. I really think he did the Birds a favor. Like, calling out the issues to make sure they get fixed no matter what is something that leaders do. And A.J. Brown is obviously a captain. Something Brown's quarterback also doubled down on when he was asked about the same situation by the media on Wednesday.
We've shown what we're capable of, and then we've shown what we've shown. We've shown that we're capable of being very special, and we've shown that we need to be more consistent. And I think that's all opportunity in that. We want to be the best that we can be. And I see great light and being able to turn the negative into a positive. It's always great to be able to do that. I think, again, looking at it from a macro perspective, it's a collective thing. It's not just 2 people. It's a collective thing. It's about the offense generating and being what we believe it could be, and what we've shown it can be. And so that's every aspect of our game. That's our efficiency in the run game. That's our efficiency in the pass game. That's our efficiency in pass protection. That's every element. And so, I know coaches are in a position right now where they're asking themselves, well, how can we leverage the players and best leverage the players? And I know I'm in a position where how can I help the coaches, and how can I push and operate the offense at a high level.
Oh, and Brown also made sure to triple emphasize that he loves being with the Birds, he loves being an Eagle and wants to retire here, but also win a lot more games in the city of brotherly love. An obvious shot at the quote-unquote reports on Tuesday, suggesting that league sources think Philadelphia will trade the star receiver this offseason.
Just to clarify, AJ, are you happy here?
Absolutely. This is home. This is my home. Unfortunately, I did it to myself. I won't even say unfortunately, I did it to myself. But this is my home, man. I love it here. But you just see frustration because obviously, we want to be great, and most definitely, I want to be great as well. So
the truth of the matter is, the Birds' offense, it's a work in progress through 4 games, with flashes of brilliance here and there, but also flashes of pure chaos. But true fans understand this is honestly nothing new. Birds' offense has struggled mightily through the first 4, 5, 6 games of each and every season that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have been there. Like, we forget the first 4 games of the 2024 Super Bowl campaign, Bird offense, it greatly struggled, and actually didn't score in the first quarter of any game early until week 9. My guess is A.J. Brown saw these issues arising once again and wanted to get ahead of them now to try to nip the sluggish offense in the bud and get his team back to dominating faster than ever. Which, of course, ties back to Kevin Patullo, who has got to figure out how to be a proper play caller in the National Football League, hopefully pretty darn soon. He does deserve grace. He does get a grace period to get his sea legs underneath him, but time is running out. We're a month into the season, and starting week 5, it has got to be all systems go. You cannot have another bad quarter or half a football. But I guess the good news is, as I mentioned, every single Birds team since Jalen Hurts has been quarterback has started slow and finished strong, except I guess for 2023. And then they lose their offensive coordinator and have to start the process all over again. We are clearly in that building process right now through 4 weeks with a brand new play caller, and Jalen Hurts, of all people, knows that and mentioned it once again to the media on Wednesday.
Starting from ground zero every year because you got new leadership. And so that's something that you bring into perspective in that. At the same time, you still have the same eagerness to build and grow. And so, I mean, I'd be the first to say I got a lot of confidence in KP in the direction that we're going, and what he's capable of. And it takes a full collective. It takes a full collective group to go out there and play, team offense at a high level. And so everybody's locked in and focused and excited for what's to come.
All in all, I think this week presents an awesome opportunity to finally silence the critics and showcase a complete 4 quarters of football on both offense and defense. Denver's defense, for instance, it's no joke. Like, they have got to show up to stop that unit, but they also have been gashed at times and love playing man coverage. Something Brown and company have torched nearly every time in recent history. Perhaps A.J. Brown's comments plus a home game against Denver could be just what the doctor ordered to get the Birds right entering Red October. And I can't think of a better way to lead into our interview this morning, recorded with Brandon Graham by myself and Josh Davis. BG gave us 15-20 minutes of his time talking about everything from the Birds offense, the Birds defense, A.J. Brown, and everything in between. All thanks to his brand new partnership with Jordan Spector on his new Immortal Relics collection that is absolutely fantastic. Without further ado, here's myself, Josh Davis, and Brandon Graham.
Friend of the show, been on multiple times. It's always great to see you talking Eagles. They're 4-0, so there's some positives there. We'll get into maybe more of the granular details and everything else, but I'm curious, BG, just to kick this thing off, because there's takes everywhere from where this team's at, thoughts on the team, how they're doing, even though they're 4-0. What do you make so far of what you've seen 4 weeks through the season for this Eagles team?
I'm seeing that we headed towards another Super Bowl because, man, it was chaos last year. It's no different, and we 4-0. We're not even 2-2 this time, and so that's what's nice. But honestly, that's what I miss the most. I love the chaos of the guys and what's going on, and it's really about how we problem solve together to figure it out. I think they're doing a good job. Building. Of course, we got to get better, but that's part of the journey.
BG, you mentioned problem solving and you mentioned building and getting better. I know you're a defensive guy, but offense has been all the rave in Philadelphia the past couple of days here. I'm just curious how you have viewed the Eagles offense so far. They've had great quarters. They've had bad quarters. Are you seeing something that can really turn into maybe an offense look during the playoffs? Do they need more time? What to you is the one issue right now, however small, with Philadelphia's offense?
I think the issue is right now the fans is not giving them time to, with KP, and we still 4-0. We still figuring it out. We see that we can do it, and when it was clicking in the first half, it was great. The special teams gave us a spark. Jay and all them went out there. He was dotting everybody. Goedert had a good game, 2 touchdowns. Then it just opens up so much. We know that they're going to fill up the box for Saquon. They've been stingy with Saquon this year. They don't want him to run 2,000 yards this year, but he going to have his breakout just like last year. I think our pass defense will get better as we continue to keep building, but you got to make sure that you are building together and can't worry about what the outside noise is talking about. But I know that the offense just need a little time because they got a new coordinator. And, of course, they got to understand how he's calling the game. And maybe he might need to get a little better with taking the seatbelt off. But that's where time is happening. And luckily, we're 4-0. And so there's no sense of panicking. We all know what the big elephant is in the room. Yes, we might need to give 11 the ball a little more. We need to scheme up some better things. Or maybe we already have that, but you got to call it. Every situation might not be warranted for certain calls, but hey, just call it, see what happens. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I feel the patience has to come in on Eagles fans, because he is getting there and he's getting more comfortable with knowing who he has, the personnel. Even though he was there last year, now he's the play caller. Now he's paying attention to more detail. And yeah, man, you got to have patience with that. But we 4-0, and our defense is getting better every week. We got to stay off the injury list though, because that's the biggest thing. Got to stay healthy. But I'm liking what's going on so far, because chaos got us a win last year, and I think chaos is good. It's how you handle it.
There you go. You're right. The defense, shout out to them. They've been balling. Yeah. and they've still been improving because, you go back to games, it's like, okay, sometimes, a little bit of adjustments, guys showing out.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis, though, let's talk about JD. I mean, you give praise to a lot of players, but I think that it was, maybe a month or two ago, whenever you came on, we were, going through the interview and me just asking you, like, hey, who you expecting to have a big year, do you look out for? And you talked about JD with the extension that he was getting and, trying to go out there and prove it. Some of the other guys too. But what have you seen from JD? I mean, has it been even more of a surprise, like how because it's taken on more snaps, one, but then also the productivity level has been something we have not seen so far from JD.
Oh, yeah, and I'm loving that for him. I'm loving the game that he had against the Rams because that's only a confidence booster for him. And so all he got to do is not get that I'm full bug of, man, not even full, but just you start getting complacent because you think it's just going to show up and stop doing what got you to that point. You got to continue to keep pressing. Got to continue to keep pushing through. I know your body tired from the game and maybe you need to rest for one day, but when Wednesday come, when the new beginning of the week start, that's our day where we start talking about the new opponent on Wednesday. Just make sure you focus, and it's just one day at a time, taking practice serious like you did to get to that Rams game and go out there and ball, because what you do in practice usually shows up in the game and sometimes better than what you did in practice. So as long as he keep his mindset with that Mamba mentality, not getting complacent and staying strong on in the weight room and taking all his reps serious, I think he'll keep having a phenomenal year, and we need that, especially in the middle.
I want to keep the question on the defensive line and go over to sacks here really quickly, because a lot of Eagle fans are wondering where the sacks are. Nolan Smith's out. Yes, you're not there anymore, but they get Zadarius Smith. Josh Uche's been pretty good. Hopefully he's Zizo Jolari this week. And then Vic Fangio says yesterday he's not too worried about the sacks. He thinks that they're going to come. Where are you at on how many sacks Philadelphia has had so far? Are you seeing them getting close? Do you think the floodgates are going to open up with sacks here hopefully soon?
I really do. I think we just played some of the good pocket present quarterbacks. Like you got Baker Mayfield, who's tough to get down. I mean, as you can see him in games all the time, that boy is always breaking tackles and getting out. Then you got Dak Prescott, who has great pocket presence, and we had him a couple times, but he got out our hands, and it's part of it because when you rushing, sometimes some of the situations the quarterback might step up and the lineman might push you past, and I mean it's just a chess match the whole time. And then we have Mahomes, another one that escapes the pocket, that's fast, that's really good pocket presence, and they gonna come. But we 4-0 against some of them tough teams, and man, it ain't been easy. Matthew Stafford, he usually gives up some sacks too, but he was getting rid of the ball, and we was making plays when we were supposed to. But I know that the sacks are coming, and it might start with Bo Nix this week.
We hope so, man. That's what we want to see. Absolutely.
We need 3 to 4 sacks this game for sure.
Yes,
and
I think so.
Turnovers.
There you go.
We
yes.
have been getting turnovers, though. That's one thing I say. We've been getting turnovers, and that's what I like. Jihaad making that play on the goal line right there, getting that interception, boy. That was big in that moment because they sure would have went up on us. And the way our offense was in the second half, I don't know. It would have been tough to kind of get squeeze out that one.
There's a little bit of anxiety pumping at that moment. So yeah, for him to come up big as a rookie too, you like build on that confidence. I know that, we've been kind of echoing the same things as we've also been talking about, like, hey, that you're getting the pressures, hopefully pressures eventually lead to sacks, but it's good to hear you say that. The same thing for Fangio. You get a call though from Howie, like, hey, BG, you want to come back, or do you have even, moments throughout the season you're watching that like, man, I'm missing that? Or has it been like, appreciate the journey, had such a great time, but you've fully moved on? You still miss it at all?
Yeah, I miss it, man. I love watching them boys and seeing them figure it out, knowing probably what some of them saying on the same time when you see them on the camera and they looking at the bench. I can tell in certain situations who getting cussed out, all that funny stuff, and it's cool to watch, especially when you know the team. And so I know right now, it's fun to watch, man. I'm thankful to have been a part of that, man, and I know they're gonna figure it out. Howie a wizard, man. He gonna figure it out.
Thomas and I have a lot of crazy giveaways, unique giveaways, everything else here, but I gotta say this might be it probably is the most unique giveaway and unique thing that we've even discussed on this channel. So shout out to you, Jordan, for you making this thing happen. But I'm curious with the Relic collection. what can you guys tell us? I guess I'll kick it off, start out with Jordan, but what can you tell us about the collection for people to get interested? We got obviously more details in the description. Go to those links, check them out. But just kind of tell us how this thing even got started.
Yeah, so BG and I last year did our first trading card project commemorating the infamous strip Zack, which we all love as Eagles fans, and that was a lot of fun. And now this year came around to this Super Bowl win, and we came together on another amazing project. And as I've grown in the card world and more capabilities with what I can produce, we came together on this project, and didn't really know how we would get to this point, but the fact that BG was willing to part ways with these relics was amazing in itself, and his way of giving back to the fans. So, I was here to help make that happen and to tie it all together. And we're really excited about how it came together.
For me personally, I got to say, the card, like I like all of the Mamba one is legit for a number of reasons too. But that's actually like from your cleats of the Super Bowl? Is that right, BG?
Yeah, that is. It is. It's from the tongue of the cleat. They cut it up so nicely, and man, I wanted to pay tribute to Kobe. Wanted to make sure that I let him know. Well, not let him know, but just pay tribute from him being from Philly, and and just wanted to make sure you continue to keep talking and speaking his name because of the legacy he left.
There you go. That's awesome. I mean, especially giving back to the Eagles fans, they can get a piece of history, extra special moments there. If I'm not mistaken, though, you got a different favorite, right? Out of all those options there, do you have a favorite for the card?
Oh yeah, I do. I got the captain patch, the quad star. We got the
look at
4-star. It's just something that's hard to get in this league, and thankful that I was able to be a captain for so long for the team, and we was able to bring two back together with the Eagles.
As far as the specs for the cards themselves, they got every card BG game worn Super Bowl jersey and cleats, over 20 plus variations, so people can get on those. Numerous chases that we mentioned. Obviously, as we've also said, go to spectorsportsart.com. People can get those. But as you also said too, this is a chance just to give back to the fans. No one's really doing anything like this, but I think as like cards collectors, there's a lot of there's uniqueness to it. But to actually have some signature options, pieces of the game-worn jersey. I mean, it's history in itself, but just does it kind of make it even more real for you in the sense of like, okay, you've got all these other elements of one of the biggest moments. Obviously, there's been 2 Super Bowls, but one of the biggest moments of your career, and Eagles fans out there can get a piece of that history. Like, I guess, just talk me through kind of the emotions of that.
Man, it's my first one that's the baby. That's the one that you make it play against Tom Brady, all that stuff. But this time around, I wanted to give back with this one. And that's just like when you get your first ring, Dad, this is mine. But the second one, I give you the second one. You know what I'm saying? Because of all that went in the first one. But I'm thankful that I'm able to even give, because we won it. It was hard to get there, but once we got there, we put on the show, and we earned that one. And I felt like the fans earned that one too. It was a big part of it.
For people watching this right now, you got an opportunity. Just go to the comment section. Chance to win one of those. If not, it's too good to be true. Like, you got to go ahead and pick up some other ones. I'm doing it personally for my own personal collection. I know we're going to give out some as well, but Thomas and I are doing the same thing. So yes, you got to be able to check it out. You see it there, Jordan. That's the G right there from Brandon Graham. That's another option. You just take that one. Heck
7 Letterman cards, but the G is my favorite one out of all the letters. So one of the best right there.
There we go. Jordan, how did you even think up of? I know, just kind of going through, and there's so many. The number of comments and supporters, everything else here. But how did you think up something like that? Because again, it's like so unique. But every one of your pieces is like one of one. And here's just another thing. How did you go about getting this started?
I didn't mention it earlier, but I really like a challenge. I really like when I have the opportunity to do something new that I've never done before. And this is truly something that has never been done in the card space, actually, which I realized as we did this more and more, that nobody's ever had a full-on set that includes a piece. Every single piece has a piece of this Super Bowl jersey, Super Bowl game-worn cleats and jersey. So it's really special to me to be able to have this opportunity. And, I'm always up for the challenge too. So, I think it came out really well.
Adding Jihaad Campbell, you talked about him earlier this offseason. He's been fantastic the first 4 weeks. Nakobe Dean, though, has been activated from the PUP list. We'll see if he plays this week, maybe next week. Any indication on how they might go ahead and rotate Nakobe Dean in there? Do you think Jihaad Campbell can play some edge at times with packages at Dean at inside linebacker? How do you think that goes the next couple of weeks?
I'm gonna let Vic Fangio figure it out. I can't wait to watch myself because it could be Jihaad go down and move around, and but they're gonna have good packages for both of them because they both bring some dynamic. And as you know, Nakobe already showed how fast he's hitting those gaps and able to build the confidence of the coaches because of how accountable he is being in there. It's just about him staying healthy. If he can stay healthy, man, Eagles definitely got him a good one. Another good household name out there. That's been the biggest thing is him staying healthy. So I hope this time around he can make it through the season and hopefully hold that trophy on the field when they make this run.
There we go. We're hoping to see it, man. It is. It's exciting. Like you said, it's 4-0. The Eagles are 4-0. So it's like, yeah, you can be better. You don't want to settle at any time, but they've gotten it done against good teams. So love the positivity. Because there's so much negativity anyway out there. All the criticism. So we got to stay positive, stay hopeful. The team's going to be continuing to get better, and we are undefeated. BG, you're the man as always. Appreciate you coming on. Again, to everybody else, make sure to like, subscribe, enter in the comment section, get your chance to get a piece of history from the legend himself. Get one of those cards. It's courtesy of Jordan Spector of Spector Arts. And BG, we appreciate it as always.
Thanks, BG.
Yep. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Baby.
Now, of course, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks, including full injury updates on Dallas Goedert, Nakobe Dean, and Lane Johnson on my Saturday preview show. Be sure to subscribe for that. And, of course, leave a comment down below because on Saturday's show coming up, I guess in 2 days, depending on when you watch this, I'll announce the Jalen Jordan Spector art piece giveaway winner. So you got to stay tuned to see if you won that one, but leave a comment, be subscribed, and drop a like down below on this one to make sure you're entered. Again, massive shout out to Jordan Spector and Brandon Graham for our interview today. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm Thomas Mott. I think the Birds can get to 5-0. We'll see. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.